I'm so congested. It's disgusting.
It
But
happened.
I feel like shit, but I feel better than I felt like Monday night. Monday night I felt horrible.
Somebody beat you up, huh? On the
Yeah.
side of the road.
Yeah, like somebody beat me up and just threw me over the side.
Damn, not the side.
Hi Jessica. We're finally getting this over with because I couldn't push this back anymore. I'm so tired of pushing this one back. I'm ready to move on to bigger and brighter things. And
Bigger and brighter things.
Bree and I have the schedule planned out for next year already as well.
Yeah. And I already finished volume 1 of Lock and Key.
I feel bad about Lock and Key because I've read the whole series and it's a reread. And Lock and Key reads fast. I also
Yeah.
feel like Lock and Key is very straightforward, whereas these are very literary.
I felt like I was going through it. Not only that, the font. Like, this really
Yeah,
fucked with my dyslexia. I really hated that. I hated
it's
that the most.
it's definitely old school if you're not used to old school comics. Watchman and V for Vendetta would be kind of a stretch in terms of reading. Um, so we're not gonna be here for long because if y'all can't tell, I am super, super, super
Feeling
congested.
great.
I'm feeling amazing right
I'm
now.
amazing.
I have not been at work since Monday, and I'm
Feeling
not
good,
going
feeling
back.
great.
I'm trying to get myself together because I have a conference to go to on Friday. So Y'all Fest is on Friday, and I'm actually going for work related purposes. So I'm trying to get my energy and stamina back up. Um, I definitely will be masked up though, not just to protect myself, but to protect people from whatever the hell I had. I don't think it was the flu. I never ran a fever, but whatever it is, it's disgusting.
Damn. Did you test yourself?
Yeah, and I don't have it's not COVID or anything, so it's like I
Could
really
be
think like
anything.
I can tell you exactly when it happened. This is so weird. And I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't things where when she started coughing when I picked her up on Monday and I realized how bad she was coughing, like she couldn't talk without coughing, I was just kinda like, forget it, like I'm just gonna keep her home
It
and
is
then
what it is.
yeah, and then by Tuesday morning it was bad. The cough it was really just a cough with her. She has some like drainage going on right now. Like I feel like today all of a sudden we both got super congested with really, really runny noses. But her energy has been a lot better than mine. Like a whole lot better than mine. So yeah. She had RSV a year ago. No, two
Yeah,
years ago.
bronchitis is real.
Yeah. I had bronchitis last year. That was
Not
fun. And then
fun.
I had bronchitis and then got COVID.
It sucks when you have bronchitis and you got asthma.
We'll tell you. I had bronchitis in
Double
November and got
homicide.
COVID in December.
Dang. The universe said, but bum. The universe, it said, if you got it. Mhm. Damn. Damn. Months? That sucks.
Yeah. That is rare. Adults getting
Damn.
RSV. Sorry, y'all. I'm looking at there's a book that got banned in my area, and I got sent why it got banned. It's a picture book. Black is a rainbow color.
Really?
Yeah, by Angela Joy.
Yeah.
Somebody just sent me what
People just childish.
they tried to get it banned because they said that they said that um phrases may be confusing and hurtful to certain students, could foster low self esteem, social isolation, and show that love is only skin deep. Um, they objected to the book because Black Lives Matter imagery, divisive political propaganda, not seen as historical. I can't. I'm done. I'm done reading that. I just need. That's what I've been looking at. Um,
Trash.
trash,
Uh,
complete trash. But whatever. Anyway, let's get started on this conversation
speaking
because
of it,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Speaking
was saying,
of,
speaking of picture books, I got like 10 of them from the library, and they're all indigenous. And I haven't been figured out how I'm going to share it. So many cool books. And I got volume 1 through 3 of Moonshot. Was that on my TBR? No.
no,
Am I reading it?
yes. You mean Moonshot? Moonshot is not by an indigenous author.
I thought it is. That's what the lady said.
Let me see the cover.
Unless she lied to me, man.
Moonshot is not by. It includes. It's included in. It has indigenous representation, but I think some of the conflict behind that series is that it's not an indigenous writer.
It's called an indigenous comic collection.
That is
So,
right. That one.
so
No,
they
you're right.
lied?
No, no, they didn't lie. They didn't lie. They didn't lie. They didn't lie.
Oh, I
The
said,
one, no, 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 the one that I'm thinking about is maybe Two Moons. It has a similar name. Okay, no, 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 no. That's right.
oh
That's
my
right.
God, Ashley, you almost took me out. I was like,
My bad. My bad.
oh,
My bad. My bad. No, no,
that's
no, no,
cold, bro.
no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. What is it? Something. Two Moons, which focuses on the indigenous experience in America, but it's fantastical. But it's not written by an indigenous author, and that one got kind of. I think it was cited as like handling the material well, but I felt uncomfortable reading it because it wasn't
Yeah.
by an indigenous writer. But no, you're fine with that. Yeah, that isn't. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Have
I'm
you read
surprised they
these?
no because you can't get a physical copy of them anywhere.
Oh, you
There,
jealous?
should I be jealous?
Yeah.
I'm not.
God chosen. God chosen. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I went, I got volume 1 through 3.
Yeah, they're
I
hard to
got
get
this.
now. Oh, your library does paperbacks?
Yeah, it's a comic too.
Which picture books did you get?
Picture book. Hold on. This is another comic.
Surviving the City. I'm reading the second volume of that one now. Buffalo Song. Okay. I don't
Sacagawea.
think I've seen that one. I've seen that one. I haven't seen that one because we don't do paperbacks, which is super unfortunate.
I
That
didn't
one
want to get
either.
too many, but I was in there. It was so many. And
I
it
wish we
also
did paperbacks.
it also helped that I went to a library on a res.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's all I will
Oh,
say. I went to a library on the
great on the
res and I
rest.
said, yo,
Yeah.
help me out. And I checked out a bunch of books. They had a huge collection. It was so many. And I was like, let me just.
Clean them out.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I ain't cleaned them out a little bit. Not even. But yeah, I low key want to call my nephew and ask him if my niece is asleep. If she, get some bedtime stories from Titty Bree now.
Yeah, too easily damaged. It's not worth the cost. To be honest with you. Um, yeah, it's just not worth it. And usually a lot of those that are independently published as just paperbacks are not professionally reviewed. And so that's where collection standards change for every single library. So we wouldn't ever be able to get those because most of those are only published in paperback, which is super duper unfortunate. Okay, let's start. So, Watchman V for Vendetta. Thoughts, feelings, and ratings.
Um. Okay, so for transparency, I didn't finish chapter 12, which is the last chapter. I
of
plan on
Watchmen.
finishing of Watchmen. I do
I didn't
plan,
finish V for Vendetta for
yeah,
full transparency. So there
for
we go.
transparency. But I do plan on after. But I felt like I had a better experience watching the comic motion on YouTube and a dish and reading along and then reading all that text heavy stuff at the end of each chapter. Um, right now, I would say my rating is a 3. I think that's all I can give it right now. I found that it was really boring in the beginning. The best plot stories, or not plot stories, plot point, would that be? I don't know. Is between the blue guy and the woman, because of like all they're going through. And I find the guy who she went to after him, is funny. I think his lines was hilarious. Um, Also, uh, I think I hit a real plot twist in chapter 11, and I'm like, if I could just get to chapter 12, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. I found that it was hard for me to follow on because there was like so many characters, and I think there's character arcs and backgrounds that I would have needed to know that would have made it more, um would have synthesized better in my brain. Um it touched so many different things: heartbreak, the end of the world, like what it means to be human, sexual assault, abandonment, um so many different themes. So that's what I have to say. I think I'm talking too much, but yeah.
Okay. So for me, Watchmen is a 5-star read.
I knew it
I'm
would
finna,
be.
I'm finna explain why. So Watchmen is produced, if y'all did not know, it's produced, did it originally, it came out through DC? Okay. So technically it is a self-contained story.
Yeah.
Um Watchmen, you don't need to have any prior knowledge of DC or anything related. There are some follow-ups to Watchmen. I think Doomsday Clock is a follow-up where it connects um Watchmen to the DC universe, essentially ending DC's run of New 52. It is not well received. New 52 is not well received, the whole nine. Um Watchmen for me, it takes a while to get into because I think it is more of a literary comic than anything. It's not like anything that I've ever read before. It is very much so one that I felt like makes a lot of commentary. I think that Alan Moore definitely used this as a way to push back against Reagan. This was written in a time where you had the president of the United States getting involved with CIA operatives selling arms to
Dirty.
Iran. Yeah, doing dirty work behind the scenes. And so the whole idea of Watchmen is to understand who watches those who hold all the power. And so you have these superheroes in the beginning who are painted as vigilantes who are supposed to be looking out for the good of humankind, but who's watching them? Who's keeping their power in check? And so what I liked about this is that like you could kind of see the disintegration of what we would typically consider to be heroes. These superheroes are supposed to be doing the good of mankind, and you see that disintegrate as you go through the comic when you get to the very end, and it's like they're all morally gray. I think a lot of times when we think about comics, I think this was Alan Moore's kind of pushback against the typical standard of comics as well, because when we think superheroes, we think these awesome people, they don't really have a lot of character flaws. They're not typically morally gray. And I think with Watchmen, we got a taste of something that was a little different, where these people were not perfect. They were horribly wrong. There was, there was something wrong about all of them. And I
A
thought it was
lot of them
unique.
needed Jesus.
Huh?
Said a lot of them needed Jesus.
Yeah, I love too that, it took place in an alternate version of our world where like you had a superhero who effectively ended Vietnam by himself. You had a superhero who essentially stopped Nixon from going through Watergate. Like Nixon is still president at the time that this comic takes place. So it's an alternate version of the world that we live in. But I think what was most shocking for me is that um I was not expecting how shocked I was at the end, yet sort of understanding of some of the decisions that were made at the end, where, Bree, if you don't mind me saying, because I think you
Oh
put it in the
no.
name, when we find out that don't ask me any names, but the guy who had the action figures, when we
Yeah.
come full circle to the end, that he's the one who has plotted all of this as a means
Oh
to
yeah, that's I
stop,
already seen that part.
yeah, as a means to stop mankind from blowing each other up to smithereens. And it's like, how can you really argue with the fact that he was willing to sacrifice a few billion here to save humanity as a whole? And that was probably the most shocking thing, where I was like, but is he technically wrong in doing this? Like,
Yeah.
is he wrong in saying that there was going to be a nuclear war? There was no stopping it. And so he
Yeah.
made the inevitable decision to say, well, if I create something that drives everyone together, and that means that a few million people have to die in order to save the good of humanity, it reminds me really honestly of Thanos. Like, people hate
Yeah.
Thanos, but if you think about it, Thanos was, I mean, he was ruthless, he was nasty, he was killing everybody, but he did it because of the fact that humans were just overusing. Humans were just running the earth into the ground. And
The ground. As we're
in
doing now.
exactly. So to save them from themselves, he was like, if I get rid of half of the population, you'll better be able to function. This like, is he 100% wrong? Not really, but is
It's
it kind of
drastic.
is
It's a drastic decision.
it's a really drastic decision, and I think you kind of see the same thing unfold with this story, but I really did thematically. I think this was done very, very well. I don't think it is a book that is meant for everyone because, like I said, I think it is a literary comic more than anything, and it gets bogged down in a lot of the social commentary that it's making, and it can be so it's so much text, and there's parts of it that are not really clear, not really understanding. Like, it took me a while to figure out that there was actually that comic that the black guy was reading on the side of the street about the pirates
Mm-hmm.
was working in a linear fashion of what was actually happening in the comic itself. So as the
Mm-hmm.
main character in in the pirate comic started to kind of go downhill and was losing himself to and not even madness, just trying to take everything into his own hands and to play a higher being. You see the same thing happen in the comics. So it was very linear, but for the longest time I was like, why are we getting this story within a story? Like, I'm so confused as to why this is happening. But if you stuck with it to the very end, it kind of made sense. But I can understand why people don't like this. I can understand why people are like, this is a tough read. It's not like any other comic or graphic novel that I've ever read. I think you have to be in a certain headspace to read this one. I think it takes a lot of rereading and like looking at sections over and over again to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And it's very confusing because I feel like Alan Moore drops you into the story. He doesn't really give you any context of what's going on, but he eventually builds on it. But you have to kind of have that urge to kind of stick with the story to figure out where everything is going.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I just talked a lot.
No, no, no. I think I understand about myself that even though I know a lot about what's going on in the world, sarcasm, Jesus. Sarcasm, sorry. And social commentary always loses me.
Really?
Like it's why I did not have a good time reading Douglas Hitchhiker Guide to
Uh,
the Galaxy. I was
yeah.
like, bro, if you don't like I can be so like, is it literary, the word? It's like you take everything literal. Is that it? Like for
Sorry, I
face
was doing.
value?
Yeah, you
Oh
take
no,
everything
it's okay.
You take everything literally.
Yeah, so it's like when I'm reading, you got, if you say the sky is blue and that's what you're trying to say, I'm here with you. But you're really trying to say that it's green and that there's a pink of blue. But like I was supposed to know that from Reagan, and I was supposed to know that from 1962. Like if it's not like explicitly explained, like my
Yeah.
brain can't compute, which I hate because there's sometimes my brain can compute, like with N.K. Jemisin, The City We Became. Like the more I got into that book, I was like, oh, I see what she's doing, but I still feel like there was a whole bunch of other shit that went completely over my head. Um, Not me outing myself on Beyonce's internet. I just had to because it'd be rough. Like now all the time, dude, I be knowing what's happening.
I also think
Uh,
though that I think that's my child calling me. Hold on.
um, so
If you want to start talking about V for Vendetta, my child is thirsty.
okay,
Give me 1 second.
okay, all right, y'all. V for Vendetta. Who understood it? That is the real question. Um, what's your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings on V for Vendetta? I saw a couple 5 stars. For me, it'll be a 4 star. Um, V for Vendetta, I felt like I understood the social commentary on that a little bit more, especially when they were naming V as a terrorist, and they were talking about like assumptions that you make, and that like you see him but you don't see him, and you know who it is but you don't know who it is. There was like, I felt like the N-word use was a bit too much, but I also understand it's a product of its time. It's how I feel a lot about the comics that was written when Black Panther first entered, because those are like the first comics I've read, and they were like in the 60s or something, 60s, 70s, something like that. And I was just like, shaking my head, but I understand that it's a part of its time. So I'm wondering, like, what y'all thinking about that? It was heavy. Hey, Ulysses. It was easier for me to get to Jessica. Watchmen felt it was long, not only in text but also in like thought. Um, yeah, yeah, it was, but the N word being said, yeah, it was jarring. Had to pause it, but like I was saying, like it's being in that mind space of like it was a product of its time, but also like damn, got put in our bodies. It's like that teeter tot, if that's the word, the teeter tot there. Um, what did y'all think about the relationship between the young girl and V? And especially when she was like, I'm confused by you. Like, you talking in circles. Just say what you mean. What's your thoughts on that relationship? Yeah, okay, Monica, same for you. These won't be more than 4 stars for me because I couldn't get over the racism spring. Yeah, the racism was a little bit more than sprinkle. It was in there. However, I was fine with the N word because the times, yep, in the past, and that was happening exactly like it's I had to constantly tell myself that. I haven't watched the movie either. Hello, Scarlett. Um, V was easier to get into and understand, and it was uber creepy because I wasn't sure if he was going to turn on her. And I also wasn't sure if he was real. I don't know if anybody else got that. There's so many times I thought he was an illusion, and he even like alluded to that. Um, like he was fighting one guy, and the guy was like, "Are you V?" or something, and he was like, I think he beat up the guy or stabbed him or something, and then he was like, "Oh, you thought you were gonna like kill me? I'm an illusion. I'm what you think I am," which goes back to uh like what you think of in your mind when you think of terrorists, what a terrorist is, how do a terrorist look like, how do they behave. So I think it was more it was definitely challenging your thoughts on that, your thoughts on kinship as well. Oh, you love the movie, um for V. You also love the movie for V. Okay. Yeah.
I I am excited to pick up V for Vendetta. Because just kind of like flipping through, I think just flipping through it, just checking out the art and stuff like that, I feel like it will be easier to process than Watchmen. I think Watchmen is definitely more of the complex one out of the two of them in terms of accessibility. I mean, in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they both where they were stars is where they both were talking about like terrible shit that was happening at the time.
Hmm.
Do I think like some things that was said could have been X-nayed, but that's me viewing it from this
Hmm.
2022 lens.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I I think V for Vendetta is one of those comics that'll sit with you even after, like you'll
Hmm.
constantly think about it because there were just so many things that V said throughout the comic that I wish that I owned it because I would have tabbed or highlighted because I'm like, yeah, like that does make sense, or maybe that doesn't make sense in all contexts. I just found myself, oh, I got a new leaf. Look at you up there against the leaning. You ain't tell me you were growing a new leaf. Proud of you. But yeah.
That
Mm.
completely threw me off just now.
That threw me off too, but I was just hanging and I saw a new leaf. I said, not new leaf. It's light green. Just chilling. I hope I didn't ruin it when I accidentally knocked my plant over earlier.
I also think that more is an acquired taste. I don't think more is very I don't think more is for everyone. To be quite frank with you, I really don't. I don't think Moore is a comic writer for everyone, but he is one of the greatest um to do it. To be honest with you, he is one of the greatest comic writers out there. I do feel like there are some interesting things that Moore plays with that I think in the time in which this, because this came out before Reagan even left office. If I'm not, Watchmen did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so he does some things, even with Rorschach, um, the character in Watchmen. He's very far right, very misogynistic, very homophobic, very racist, and very much so black and white in thinking in the
More?
extremes. No, 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 no. The character that he developed in Watchmen, like if you pay
Okay.
attention to when you figure out who he is, who's actually underneath his mask, and you correlate it back to the guy who was going to the newsstand who was buying this far right propaganda based newspaper that is, and just the things that he was saying in his journal entries, very homophobic, very misogynistic. Um, and I questioned quite a few times what Moore was attempting to do with creating um such a controversial and far right character, to be honest with you, because he's not, even if without those elements, he's not an appealing character whatsoever. Um
I
in the
wonder if
least bit.
he like wanted to be an asshole, because sometimes there's not this philosophical reason why people
But
do things. Like he wanted a character who's an asshole, is what I'm saying.
I don't, but I feel like Rorschach was more than just an ass though. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah, I
wasn't
get
just
that too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't, I
get
feel
that.
like he was more, I think he was beyond, and I definitely get what you're saying, like, sometimes it's just a character is a character for a character. But I feel like in the grander scheme of what Watchmen is, he just had too many pieces and parts of Watchmen at play in terms of deconstructing what we consider to be superheroes. And that's kind of what Moore is very known for. It's kind of like left field, taking away from, I think, what our stereotypical perceptions of comics and superheroes are. Um, it's just very, it's very, very interesting. And I just can't keep, like, I can't get over that ending because it doesn't end in a way that I think you expect it to end. I don't know. It's like everybody's just kind of like at peace with the fact that the world is now united as one. And I'm like, damn, like, it was like 3 million people died because someone who, I read an article that said that it's very interesting where, like, we hear, like, with Spider-Man, he's often associated with that quote from his Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. And what people
Yeah.
don't understand is that when great power is really factored into the equation, that personal responsibility just completely goes away. Like, in that it becomes a hyperfixation on the power element and not the personal responsibility. It no longer exists. So I don't know. It's just a very, very complicated piece of art there that Moore had going on. I just
Moore was living his life.
Yeah, yeah, he is, y'all. He's a very complicated character because
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I felt like the psychologist. I wanted to, know shit and figure shit out too.
I think as much as and maybe it fit into the grand scheme or the grand idea that humans are complex beings, like um when she had to talk to, what's his name, Dr. Manhattan,
Uh huh.
when she had to talk to him and explain to him why she had to appeal or make a case for why human beings are more complicated than what they appear to be. And I think that maybe uh, it ties into even him as a character because he's gone through so much as a child, which very much so informs the way that he thinks about things. The abuse that he endured at the hand of his mother, it very much so informs how he behaves in the future. But he also makes some good points, even though fundamentally I don't agree with a lot of things that he believes in. Like the whole concept of, it's not right that just because he feels like we can sacrifice 3 million people for the betterment of humanity, that doesn't make it right. And like, that's not like evil. You can't just let evil function that way. Like, that's evil. You can't just do stuff like that. And for him to have to die because he's pretty much like, if you're gonna have to kill me. I don't know. It's a very I would this is one that I think I would have to go back and reread and dissect it again, like, piece by piece. Now that I know the actual storyline and I understand what happened, I think I want to go back and dissect it even more to kind of see some things maybe that I didn't see the first thing going around, because even the paneling and the artwork in that one was very, um, I think was very complex as well. I don't know. That's just me though. That could just be me. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing too, Alexis, with this one is that there is nothing in this book I think is none of the characters in this specific book are um simplistic by any means. And I think too with like the complexity of the story, I don't think more could have afforded to create any characters that were simplistic. Everybody had layers to them, issues, great things about them, not so great things about them. I think I was probably really shocked about finding out who y'all know I can't remember anybody's name that
I know what you're about to say.
yes, that she's her
Father of
father,
that trash human being.
but it was consensual. So he assaulted her and then they had sex again that was consensual. That blew my mind. That blew me away because I was like, because of the timeline, that's how it added up. And I
Yeah.
was like, when she and it's amazing that through her figuring that out is what Dr. Manhattan finally was able to process that, oh, humans are not as simplistic as I was making them out to be. Like, y'all
Yeah.
are actually complex beings that are worthy to be saved. I don't know. I didn't really like Dr. Manhattan.
I didn't
Just
like that either because I was like,
I
if
didn't
you
like
don't
him.
sit down with that science and say shit in a layman way, soon as he started on, I was like, oh, how many panels we going to get of him being
Oh
scientific?
god, I just didn't like because he's so far removed from human emotion that he aggravated me. And I
Yeah, I
think
wanted to fight dude for sure.
I wonder if he was there to like antagonize us as readers. Because he like literally got under my skin. I'm like, I can't read panels with him in it because he just ugh. You look stressed.
Who me?
Yeah.
Not to make it dark, but I found out one of my favorite cousins died.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Things happen, man. I feel like
No,
people always dying.
it's not things happen. That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jessica, his cartoon dick sucks too.
Damn. Also, Rosha been through it all. That was the most complex character to me. I was
I
like, y'all really broke him out of prison. Did not agree with that choice.
You didn't agree with it?
Uh-uh.
Why?
Cause I just thought this man was murdery. I don't know why I couldn't trust him. I was like, he's gonna murder everyone anyway. Oh, not me compartmentalizing. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Yes, Chris, there is blue dick.
Yeah, it is. It's there.
It's there. And boring. Good and boring.
Yeah. And it
It's,
wasn't even him. It was like
no,
a copy of him.
it was a copy of him, which I
So
thought was insulting. Like, I'm glad
I
that you
would
left.
have been so mad.
And it was almost like he just didn't care. Like, he was just like, I don't understand why you're upset. I'm like,
Mhm.
so you copy yourself, you clone yourself so you can have sex with her without really having sex with her, and as if she wouldn't figure it. I just couldn't with him. I couldn't. Uh-uh. That's yeah. I like that they broke him out because I don't think they would have figured it out if they didn't break him out.
Yeah, I
I don't.
agree.
I don't think they would have figured that one out. I think that he was the one who was taking it seriously from the jump.
Yeah, because when he was like, I killed half of the world. He was like, "No, you didn't." He was like, "I did." He was like, "No, you did." He did.
Yep, and then
so,
Rachel was like, "No," he
so
was like, "No, listen to the tone of his voice." Like, he really did.
yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did. He did it.
But let me tell
Don't
you,
think he didn't.
he was a
So
badass in prison, though. Them people
yeah,
was
he
trying him.
was.
We was trying him.
He
They
was.
was trying the hell out that man. That man said, "All right, now y'all better leave me alone." When they were trying to break, I think the panels that I like was getting a kick out of
Was it broken
when
fingers?
the broke. Yes, you knew it. Like literally,
Yeah, the broken fingers.
he was like 1-0, your move. I was like, damn. I said, please don't go here, y'all finna get fucked up. Like, leave this man
the cold,
alone.
the coldest line he said was, "Remember, I'm not in prison with y'all. Y'all in
Y'all in
prison with
prison with
me."
me. I would have been like,
I
listen,
said,
as soon as that man dropped
"Ooh."
that line, I would have been like, don't fuck with him. Leave that
Yeah,
man
I wouldn't
alone.
fuck with
I
him.
wouldn't fuck with him. But everybody, especially that little man that went in there, and he said, I've been in here for 20 years. I'm finna get a piece of you.
Yep.
I'm finna get a piece of you. And he did all of that and ran. But I think he killed him though.
Yeah, he did.
When he went in that
He,
bathroom.
and you saw the blood
He's like,
hanging
yeah,
out the
yeah,
side. Yeah, he
yeah.
did.
He killed
Then
him.
he ain't even like they ain't even asked. He was like, "Oh, I got to go do something." They're waiting outside the bathroom like he's
He's like,
taking a
"Oh, yeah."
piss.
Yeah, he said, "I think I heard the toilet flush." I was
Yeah,
like, but it
I
took me a
said you
second
heard
to
murder, murder.
realize. I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Why they saying they're waiting for this man to pee?" And then when he walked out the bathroom, I said, "Oh, he killed him."
He killed him. As
I
soon as
said,
I
"Oh, he
saw
killed
that
him."
blood, I knew what he was going in for nefarious reasons anyway. So then when he came out, I said,
I thought he
"That's
really had
it."
to pee. I thought
No,
he
I
got so
never
stressed out he
thought he
had to
had to pee.
piss. I thought he had to pee. I was like,
I
"Oh."
never thought he had to
I
piss.
said, "This man is so tired. He's over the situation. Everybody coming to him, threatening him, trying to get into his cell. This man that he done
No.
locked up for like 20 years
No,
is."
like Dr. Manhattan, if he did that, I would believe because he's a very like practical guy. Or the guy who Laura or Lana had her second relationship almost did it with in between, her breakup of Dr. Manhattan. I would believe them two actually peed. But that dude was serious since day one.
I did. I thought he genuinely had to pee. I thought when this man said, "I need to go, I have to use the bathroom," I was like, "Oh, okay, we just gotta go take a piss." There were
No, he
stranger
said
things
murder,
happening in
murder.
this. There were stranger things happening in that comic at the point. So I was like, "Oh, he just has to piss."
Yeah. Cause I saw like it was a panel of the little boy running similar to that like bathroom, I think. So I was like, oh, he's killing that boy.
I was like, "Dang." I was like,
Yeah.
this is," but I mean, even when he was at the in the cafeteria line, and that man had that shank, or he had a screwdriver or something.
Yeah.
And he was basically, like, threatening him, and then when
Yeah.
he reached over, I thought he was reaching over to put food in his plate. I didn't know what was going.
He
I
said
saw that
murder, murder.
I saw that grease fly. I said, "Ooh."
Oh, yeah. He said, I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
I mean, at that point, I feel like I should have been able to put 2 and 2 together. Like, at no point did this man do anything without intention.
Maybe you was just along for the ride. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I was along for the ride because I think, like, there never was a scene in which he wasn't violent.
It was like for a second. Was that when he was in the hallway when the blue man came? Because he wasn't violent then.
That's true. But I feel like in that situation, I also think he's very aware of who he can physically go up against. Because even when they figured out that it was all dude, he said, "We're not gonna make it back." He knew. He said he's faster, he's more powerful, he's stronger than us. I think that's what made it so interesting is that he was, as much as people like to say he was mentally unstable or he had mental health issues, this man was very aware of everything that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he make some very interesting decisions? Yes, but when it came to knowing, like, his capabilities and who he was up against, he was actively aware.
Mm-hmm. He was actively about that life too.
Yeah, no, he was I should probably he apologized, the same thing, Mina. That moment between him and the owl guy,
Yeah.
it was cute. It was cute. I liked that moment. He's like, "You're so difficult. It's hard to be your friend." And he's like, "I'm sorry. I know." I was like, "Look at that self-awareness."
I know.
Yeah, but, that's exactly what it was. Oh, wait, that's my friend who broke me out of jail. Let me check myself. Really, it was.
I know.
It really was. He was like, "Oh, yeah, we are." Like, "You're a good friend." And I'm like, "Okay, this is cute. I'm liking this bromance type of thing
Yeah.
going on here."
I just thought it was funny how them two were panicking to get him out and he was chill.
He was chill the
Calm and
whole literally, cause she
collected.
was freaking the fuck out. She was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not why do we need to just I need to light a cigarette. I need to
Yeah,
smoke."
like she was
That
stressed
would be
and
me.
he was
Where I need a cigarette.
chilling. Soon as that man went in the bathroom, said, "Let me go ahead and do some murder before we leave."
And
That lets
walked out
me
like,
know he was on his time. He
"Listen,
was
this man
on
said,
his time.
I'm ready to go. We can leave now."
Yeah, I think I
So
just bumped it
chill.
up to a 4-star read for me. Now that we're getting into the meat and the bones, I think I done bumped it up.
It is. It's funny though. I think when you think about like the little moments like that, when you circle back around, you're like, "Oh, that was pretty badass, man." Like this man said, "All right, I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna kill this man. I'm gonna walk," and then we ready to go. Let's go. I'm ready to ride. Oh, y'all, she was not. I listen. She is me anytime I get into any chaotic situations. She didn't annoy me. It was probably like, oh man, if I was in her shoes, this is probably exactly how I would act. But she like she could not. She was like, I mean, just her emotions were all over the place the entire time. See, poor little baby was up, and but also I feel like growing up with a mother that has been a part of this thing for so long, being forced into it. When we got those flashbacks of how much like she had to train at 13, she had to be around these people. I don't feel like she was ever given the opportunity to kind of like explore her own interest, and she's been sucked into this world. Like, I kind of felt for her because it's not like she really had much of an option following in the legacy of her mother. I think there was much to be said about that relationship and dynamic as well.
So much, because it felt like at times it felt like it could have been moments of like actual mother and daughter, but it just felt like toxicity and just difficulty the whole time.
Hmm. Stage
Yeah,
mom, very much so. Stage mom, like
yeah,
she did
agreed.
not get the opportunity to find herself because even in the paneling where they were like, but she's like, "I'm 13, why can't I read it?" And I was like, 13. I said, "Now this is I don't know why I was anticipating her being older when I saw her, like, lifting weights and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
was thinking maybe she was, like, 17, 18. That's what I was expecting. But when she came back and she said she was 13, I was like, "Isn't that kinda young to be kinda, like, pushing your child to be in this world that you were involved in?" But it all made sense, though, when it was all said and done.
yeah.
No, her mom didn't have a problem with that at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. With him, not even I mean, this man is who knows how old that man is.
Billions, zillions.
Like, technically how old he was. So it's just and causing issues with her and, with him and his previous partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh,
She was
yeah.
cold too. Let's not talk about her. Well, I might bump it up to a 4.5.
These characters are wild now. Like, I even old dude, when he was going through his how it well, I won't even say he's a villain, but when you have those really great characters who do those, like, long monologues, when he was talking about how he related who did he say he related himself to? What was 'cause, child, Imma get it wrong.
I couldn't remember.
He said that the person he looked up to
You talking
well,
about Dr. Manhattan, right?
talking about, what's his face? The guy who looks like he's out of Rome or Greece or, um Who did he say he looked up to?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Why can't I remember his name?
Because he said he took the same journey as this guy. Yeah, yeah, Ozymandias. But
Yeah,
who did he say he looked up to again? I can't remember. This man was cold blooded too, because when he called all those three men into that room with him, he didn't have to kill them like that.
Alexander the Great.
Yup, there we go. And I just said, now,
Thank you,
sir,
Scarlet Moon.
how about we just be a tad like talking about what he failed to do? I'm like, and so how did you just come up with, like, you just felt like, oh, I'm gonna make the
Grown
same
X-Men.
journey as this man and unite the world as one? And I'm like, but can you really get mad at this man for wanting to make the world peaceful?
Yeah, and the way that he was just like, just came in on this tree. It was like, I'm gonna keep the cat here.
And
That
killed
took
the
a nap.
cat. And
I
killed the
know.
cat. He
The
said,
cat
"Oh,
had to go. I mean,
he
I didn't
said,
get that far, but now I want to know where they killed the
but
cat.
listen, and then had the Opry. You're gonna be so pissed when you get to that panel because this man turned around and said, I didn't think that was gonna work. I was like, huh? It's ridiculous. Oh goodness gracious.
Zetus Appetus, as they
Like I
say
said,
on
I'm a fan of Astronauts
Xenon.
behind the scenes version of older X-Men issues to me. You know what? Scarlett, I definitely can see that. I definitely can see this being like, because listen, I think one of my goals for next year is going to be exploring the X-Men in totality and finding some reading guides to explore, because I have this Marvel app and I need to use it more often than what I am using it.
Come on, speak your truth.
I think I want to explore X-Men, because I always tell people, like, there's Marvel and then there's X-Men. And it is set up that way. People often forget that X-Men is a part of Marvel, and because they're like their own little,
But X-Men is dope. That's the thing. Like,
they are dope.
X-Men, I ain't gonna lie, I die on that hill. I will die on that hill.
X-Men is dope, but they definitely have issues. And it's a lot of good X-Men stuff that's releasing right now. I'm trying to get in on John Hickman's run of X-Men. I'm supposed to be reading House of Powers and House of X and Powers of X um this month to get started, finally start in on John Hickman stuff of X-Men. But I'm telling y'all, you talk about complicated and confusing. Like, that's what's been stopping me from exploring X-Men, because I feel like that's a whole different that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, completely side note. I might be doing some sprints tomorrow morning to get some work done. I think they're about to shut down this part of the state for tomorrow and the weekend.
So,
The first snowstorm, and apparently it's about to be a huge one.
a huge one. Okay. You got everything you need?
I think so. They told us we couldn't drive past 10 o'clock. It's 8:27. I think I got some water. I got some snacks, sunflower seeds. I think I'd be cool.
Okay. I'm about to say, you still
Uh,
got an hour and a half if you need to, run and
I got half of a pumpkin pie.
ew.
Attacked. Attacked. The thing
You
is,
can
you think it's nasty until somebody makes you a good one.
No, ma'am. I don't
And
care
then
who
you're
makes it.
like, yes.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's nasty pumpkin pie, though.
Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm.
Not on the same hill. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, on the X-Men Hill. I just feel like maybe I should read the comics, like just some comic, like just one random run of X-Men. But as a kid, like starting to read comics with you, I'm realizing how much of the movies I loved and watched with my mom, and
Uh-huh.
X-Men was one. Me and Sheila never missed one. They were not being missed. A TV show, nothing. So
The
I don't
TV show
know
I
if
can
it's
rock with,
the I don't know if
but
it's the same or different. Like I don't know.
I
I
will.
had some issues with Wolverine at some point, but yeah,
I feel like X-Men movies is done by Fox
not Fox.
it was done by Fox. Fox had the rights to it, and I don't
Oh,
feel like they did it enough justice, which is why everybody's excited that Marvel has acquired the rights back from Fox, and that they now can introduce them through to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But
yeah.
I think when they started doing that Days of Future Past bullshit, I think they lost a lot of people. I think it became too much, and so people are like, "This
Mm,
is not." And I think it just, I don't know, continuity wise, I don't know how well Fox did with that. Although, I mean, Fox also had Spider Man.
yeah, that's also true. That's also
Hmm.
true. I'm not a movie connoisseur like most people, so if I have a good time, I like the movie. I don't need to be super like I hate watching movies with winning because I'd be like, "Oh my god, loved it," and Winnie be like, "Girl, that was horrible." So that's my meter there. I'm loving that other people are getting their pumpkin pie out, and I
Ew.
do have some frozen dumplings. I do have 2 packs in the fridge. I ate 2 of them. There's 2 of them left. So there's about maybe 40 to 50 dumplings in each pack. Because I
Oh,
make a
Sony
lot
has
of
Spider Man.
dumplings at a time.
I thought Fox had Spider Man, and now Sony has the one that what's his face is in. Somebody explain that to me. I'm ready for them to make this Fantastic Four movie, though. That's what I do know because nobody's done it right
Same.
yet.
Same.
Nobody's done it right yet, and
Yeah,
so,
based off what I've read, I think Fantastic Four is the most I've read of a comic superhero thing
uh-huh.
of superheroes. And when I read what I read and then I was comparing it to the movie, I said, "This is wrong. This ain't right." The 2 movies. But I guess maybe they have to change it so much to make it palatable. I don't know. I don't know why people do what they do. Ooh, somebody is selling bundles of comics. My thing is, do they have October Fraction? Because that's what I've been trying to get into. You know? I think I'm going to really like diving into the Wolverine realm of things. Okay. Do I like Fantastic Four? Question. Question you should ask yourself. Reed gets on my last nerve. And so does, is it Sally? Is that her name? Hold up. She get on my nerves in the comics. Like, ooh, she get on my nerves in the comics. Especially the earlier comics. She gets on my goddamn nerves. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can. Sue, my bad. I don't call her Sally. That's Sue. Yeah. Yeah. Annoying as hell. Wait a minute, they got a new one coming out? Hold on. Dang, that last one came out in 2005? Ooh, or two, whatever it is. But yeah. Rise of the Silver Surfer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sue is really annoying. I legit can't remember all of them. I vaguely remember the cartoons. So you got Sue, you got Reed, you got Ben, and you have, give me a second. Sue, Reed, Ben, Johnny. Yep. That's all. Just very generic names. That's probably one to give Sue Sally, but Sue's annoying. Yeah. As we take our realm of comic book club to an end, um, how many of us are excited and ready for Lock and Key? Have anyone started? Scarlet, well, don't laugh at me. Sony did the Toby and Andrew movie solo, but collaborated with Disney's on the Tom Run, FF, and Fantastic Four, if anyone, and X Men were with Fox. I'm trying to think. uh, I don't know much about Sony to comment on that. Um, but Fox. Haven't started your rereading yet of Lock and Key. Started and finished Lock and Key. I tried one episode of the TV show, hated it.
It's garbage.
Oh, I really liked it, so I'm excited to see, and I still like it in my brain. While I
Yeah.
finished 2 volumes, I mean 1 volume. Sorry.
Ew. I hate the way they adapted Lock and Key. They try to make it too kid friendly, and I did not like that.
Did you watch season 2?
I have no interest in watching. I watched like three
Oh,
episodes, and I refuse to go past that.
oh, it gets darker and darker
Yeah, no,
and darker.
I don't
But I
even.
will say, what I've watched has not been nowhere compared to the darkness I've experienced in this first volume.
And it gets darker.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I just
it
don't
was
think
a
it was.
catwalk.
Yeah, I just think that it was not a good adaptation. Yeah. All right, y'all. Do we want to say anything about what we have in terms of future plans for next year before we get off tonight?
I say we surprise everyone.
Okay. Well, the live show for Lock and Key will be on the 30th at 8:30 p.m. EST. I will make the
That's
thumbnail sometime soon. Um, yes, everything is out of order on the TV show, Monica. Yes, future plans. No, I'm like surprised.
we'll give
Uh,
you one of what's her January read?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
I don't have. It will say I don't have the spreadsheet pulled up.
Dang, you make me feel type A when you say
Oh,
spreadsheet.
it's a nice house on the lake.
Hold on.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a nice house on the lake.
Wrong.
Am I wrong for real?
Yeah,
What is it?
it is Radiant Black,
Okay,
volume
so
1 through 3.
you got spoiled for two things. Look at that. Two for the price of one.
Yeah, and Nice House on the Lake is February pick.
Okay, that's what I got it messed up. Okay, so you just got January, February. January is going to be Radiant Black, volumes 1 through 3 by Kyle Higgins. And then February will be The Nice House on the Lake, just volume 1, because volume 2 doesn't drop until March, I believe, of next year. And that is by none other than James Tiny. And of course, we would have to have him.
Tell us, tell us. Yeah, I didn't watch Paper Girls. We were supposed to watch it together, but it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Life.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have all 12 months of next year planned out.
yep,
Yeah, we
yeah,
planned it out last week. So I'm sure we'll
yep.
be doing an announcement soon to let y'all know all of the selections for next year. But Those are January and February selections for right now.
There's only one book I'm not looking forward to.
What month is it?
October.
Hold on. I gotta pull it up now because you make me curious. My legs are starting to hurt again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We gotta head out of this live show.
Yeah.
I gotta call Winnie too. I told her I would call her at 8:30. It's 8:39.
Wait, hold on. What month again?
October.
Okay, why are you not looking forward to that one?
Cause I don't like that one typically.
Oh, you don't like that person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can respect that. I'm very interested to see what you're going to think of it, though.
I'm gonna be like 5 stars, 10 across the board.
You may not be. You may not be. Yeah, you may not be because that's also not a favorite of mine technically either. But I like what they did with that one. I like what they did with another group. So I'm interested to see how they format that individual's run.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry y'all. Sorry to keep you all in suspense, but you'll find out soon. Thank you all for
Yeah.
joining us. Appreciate it. We will. I know we tease y'all. Sorry, 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 but we will see
Not
y'all
more
again on
spoilers.
the. We'll see y'all on the 30th at 8:30. Lock and Key, volumes 1 through 6 by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Bye.
Bye.